Well, hello, Michelle.
Hello. You
How are
all
you
right?
doing? I'm very well. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Yeah.
That's really,
Yeah.
really good. So, we're reviewing,
Silo.
critiquing Silo episode 9, The Getaway,
Yeah.
which was out on yesterday, Friday.
Yeah.
Today's Saturday. I know what day it is today.
Yeah. Well done.
Um, so yeah, I watched that last night, but I also watched it again this morning,
Right.
just to remind myself. But I was sort of running out of time before speaking to you. So I played it on twice the speed and watched it all like this. Which someone suggested to me, and it's actually quite, you do actually kind of retain it.
Oh, right.
Anyway, I
Okay.
just thought I'd mention that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what do you think of it?
So what did I think of it?
Yeah.
So I thought it was all right. So this one starts out at the end of the last episode. We were like, how is she going to survive from jumping off
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
stairs and all that kind of stuff? But then I think, yeah, because we were talking about we haven't really got a good internal picture of the silo, but obviously the rooms and offices and things, they're all on the outside, aren't they? And the stairs are just on the inside.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's little walkways that go from the stairs to the outside, the spokes, if you like,
Yeah.
of the wheel, which kind of didn't really occur to us at the time. But
It
yes,
bloody did. I was
yeah,
right. I talked about
yeah.
a path going off.
Oh, you did, yeah, yeah. So you did, yeah. So yeah, I didn't understand that.
No.
It's terrible. Yeah, I just don't understand anything really. But
No.
so yeah, that was lucky that there was one underneath her.
Yeah.
Still looked like a bit of a drop light, but
Yeah, you'd break both legs. I
yeah,
mean, it was a good
something like
20
that.
feet, 20, 30 feet.
But yeah,
Yeah.
she sort of like scampered off.
Yeah.
Um, so that was quite good. To sort of and basically sort of disappeared.
She's the
And
John Wick
she's
of
John Wick, yeah,
of the silo.
Jane Wick, and yeah, so she like legs it off, and then we basically see a lot of Sims trying to find her, and they're like, "Where is she? Where's she gone?"
Yeah,
All
what
this
I
kind of
liked
stuff.
about it is that all of the people were outside. Some guy was doing stuff with his window, and there's like people walking up and down the streets, and they're like, "What's going on here?" Do you know what I mean? And that stopped them
Yeah,
from being. And we sort of get a clue later that everyone really fucking hates judiciary and the
yeah,
ones that burst into your house. I forget the name of them
the
now, but
Raiders.
the raiders, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Um, so they've got to be really sort of careful not to, kick off some kind of riot because
yeah,
if any of those people like interfered with judiciary and then judiciary, as usual, are quite hard, heavy-handed, everybody just pile in. They'd be like, "Fuck
yeah.
this, not again." Do you know what I mean?
I think yeah, that's obviously what they're sort of scared of, isn't it? It's sort of not
Mm.
just keeping the peace, but obviously it's not working their strategy.
Well, also
Um,
as well, I mean, like it's like any sort of society where they've got police people. Um, you know, uh, it is a numbers game. If the general population decided we've had enough,
mm,
that the people in charge are fucked. The police can't deal with that. And even if they got the army out, there's still millions more of the general
yeah,
population than there are the authority, if you like. So in the silo, and it's even worse in the silo because it's more of a powder keg, waiting to go off.
yeah,
They've been lied to all this time. They've got things. It seems like that most of them have got some kind of antique floating around. They know
yeah,
that there's different stuff from another place that they're not allowed to have, and a lot of the rules just seem arbitrary and not for a
yeah,
reason. And and these people from the first floor are like top floor, I should say. Um, just sort of be swanning around drinking alcohol and got as
yeah,
many. The judge has got all of those. Is it an archive? What do you call them? Antiques, the things that they
yeah,
the relics, um, and she's got them all in her house and stuff, and it's just
yeah,
like you're allowed, we're not allowed. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And that is going to get very old soon. People have just fucked off with it. People are getting killed left and right as well. The last last sheriff, he lost his wife, and then he went out as well, and they're just being killed after that. And he was a nice guy, and she was a nice lady. No, they
Yeah.
weren't.
And that's the thing. I mean, this whole situation has sort of been going on for what they reckon 140 years.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
kind of even, and although they did have to have a revolution halfway through in order to, we still don't really know exactly what happened there, but
Mm,
like everything was sort of ticking along under the old mayor. You
yeah.
know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah, she seemed, decent.
yeah,
Amon seemed
but
decent, and
but
they're
the
all
Tim,
dead. They're all dead now in the last couple of
yeah,
weeks.
but like Tim Robbins and Sims are just like, they've just done everything completely wrong at every time, at every turn, I think. And I think the fact that you've got people like your man Billings, who I thought had a good episode, like
I like him. I can't help
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. No,
He seems
I
nice.
I liked him in this one. I thought it was a big good episode for him because like he believes in the pact. So in a way, he's kind of very not against Juliet and the others, but he believes in the pact and the silo and stuff like that. But then it's all of a sudden it's become apparent to him that sort of IT and judicial are they're kind of weaponizing the pact.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
um, we see a scene, excuse me, later on where because basically jumping ahead a little bit here, but he sees evidence, doesn't he? He sees the book, the
yeah.
book of pictures, and stuff like that, and he
It blows his
realizes that
fucking
it blows
mind.
his mind, and he's fucking
Yeah,
upset, and then we see him a bit later on. He goes to his office, he's got a copy of the pact on his desk, and he just slams it in a drawer. You know what I mean? And it's so now all of a sudden the
because he's
people that
realised that
yeah.
rules for him are different from rules for them.
Exactly, and he did
Yeah,
the same. He did the same thing to. We're doing this all in the wrong order, but like when Tim Robbins gets George Wilkins in his office, and not George Wilkins, sorry, Lucas, the
Lucas. Yeah, yeah.
Starman. He has him in his office, and he's like, we saw this conversation, and and he's sort of proper having a go at him. And George Wilkins, you can see at that point that Tim Robbins is totally abusing his power, like he's weaponizing the pact because he's
Yeah,
like,
he's telling him like,
you yeah, we're going to prosecute you for not doing something, for inaction,
yeah,
which is like, he hasn't done anything wrong
at all.
at all. Yeah. So,
Yeah, he
um,
liked a lady. He was hanging around for it. Well, I mean,
yeah.
obviously, if he was a plant, then I think Tim Robbins would know about it.
Well, this is the thing. I thought, yeah, because this kind of put him into context a bit. Because I was all the way through this so far, seeing him, I was like, well, he's got to be in on it, but it doesn't
Yeah.
appear like he is. But it's almost at every single turn, Juliet is acquiring allies, like people she doesn't even know who are kind
Mm,
of not on her side at the beginning, but now they are because every time they have a run in with Tim Robbins or something, they're getting like screwed over unfairly. So
mm,
yeah, it's just sowing the seeds of another massive rebellion, which is totally what IT and that are trying to avoid. But it's
yeah.
like quite clearly unavoidable. So now you've got Billings, you've got the sheriff's department that's sort of pissed off. You've got Sim's wife,
Yeah,
um,
what's she up to? Because I
uh,
thought,
yeah,
because after, so Julie gets away,
yeah,
and then the crowd sort of hampers judiciary's attempts to find her, and no one's going to give her up. Do you know what I mean? It'd just be like, come on then. Well, I wouldn't give her up.
no.
But
I
anyway,
mean,
she gets away.
you would imagine
She,
some people would because they're obviously going to be some arseholes about, but at the moment it doesn't seem to be like, and I think that's worrying. That's worrying for IT as well, isn't it? Like no one is talking.
yeah, there's only so many of
Yeah,
them, and although they've got all this equipment and the spine and everybody, there was an interesting thing. But anyway, let's try and do it in a little bit of order.
yeah,
So she gets away. Tim Robbins has got some kind of pink locator keyring thing that's
yeah.
flashing on and off,
It
and
says
that's
18. Yeah,
18 on it. Yeah, and that's obviously tied to the hard drive.
yeah.
Um, and
I think I know what that is.
yeah,
The key
yeah,
ring. Yeah, I think I know what that is.
and then So blah 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 blah. So there's a pink locator thing. They go and question Juliet's dad, and like
Yeah,
Sims is like, "Are you going to give up your daughter for the for the sake of everybody and this is life and death and."
yeah.
The whole of the silos in danger. Can you give your? And he's like, no, fuck you.
No,
She's
fuck
my
you.
fucking
Yeah,
daughter. What are you talking
yeah. Because
about?
he says to him, doesn't he? He says to
Yeah,
him, "Would you do that for your child? Would you give up your child for Sally?" And he goes, "Yes, I would."
yeah, he
And he's
probably
just
would
like,
as well. It's just like
"Fucking
he's
what?"
fucking
Yeah.
mental.
He is
Yeah,
mental. I think. Do you know what? He actually had a quite terribly bad acting episode. I thought in this one, he's terrible. He can't even run properly. Um,
really.
yeah, I
Why is
just thought
that?
he's just running, going, "Everyone clear level 17 and moves. Everyone clear the stairs down to level set." Like, how are they going to do that? How are you going to clear the entire stairs down to level 17
I have to say,
while
like
running?
some of the dialogue's not all that either.
No. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, he hasn't had a lot to do. He's basically shouting at people, getting angry, and that is literally it. So the fact that
Yeah.
he's got a wife and son is kind of incidental, but we get to
Yeah.
meet his wife. So we don't know what's going on. It just seems he's going around threatening everybody. You know, all the rages are running about and everything like that. And then we come to Sim's wife and his son, and
Mm.
what? And there's a lot of things she did that I really don't understand. And I'm thinking maybe she's in with the rebellion now because
But I think
um,
she did allude that she used to be a raider or something. So
that's
she
right.
used to, God knows what she does now. But
Oh, she said IT. Yeah,
yeah,
she said IT, and she tells. Well, anyway, there's she's going just about to go into a gaff, and these two raider guys are like, "We're going to we're going to escort you the 3 feet to your doorway."
yeah,
And she's like, "No, fuck off." And
I'm already here, and
all
they're like, oh,
similar. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, exactly. And she goes, "I'm not going to let you in." And I thought, well, that I would have thought Sim's wife would be a bit more sort of, come on then, like, we're going to have a cup of tea, something.
well,
But
Juliet says that to her, doesn't she? They have a conversation. And she says,
why didn't you
and
let him in?
yeah, she's like, you say you trust the pact and that, or you say you trust that they're doing the right thing, but you wouldn't let them in your house.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So she even pulled her up on that,
yeah.
saying, "Hey, you obviously don't trust them that much," sort of thing.
The other thing I
Um,
don't understand, so she gets rid of the goons and she comes into her house and she sees the broken glass on the floor from the broken camera. And theirs is all out. It's out in the open. There's a camera in their lounge or living area, and that's been smashed off the wall. But
oh,
she
I didn't
says,
notice that. What
"Did
in
you?"
Sim's wife's house?
Yeah, so Sim's wife's in her house, and she comes in with her son, and she sees the glass
Oh,
broken on the floor. It's from the camera, and it's out. And she says to her kid, not to frighten the kid,
yeah,
just let's go in the bedroom. I'll sort you out in a minute, sort of thing. I've just got to go and do something, sort of thing.
yeah,
Stay in here, blah blah blah. And she knows obviously there's someone in there. She gets a gun, quite it looks quite a modern gun. I mean, it's not like a blunderbuss or some shit,
yeah,
is it? Do you know what I
yeah.
mean?
No,
She's
yeah,
not getting ramping up. Do you know what I mean? She's
yeah,
it's a fucking, it
yeah,
looks. I don't know
yeah.
guns,
No,
but
it's true. It looks like a regular gun
yeah, like from this
from
day and
now.
age,
Yeah,
perhaps. I don't know. I'm not a gun expert, but
no,
anyway,
that's
so
true. I didn't think about that. Yeah,
yeah, so anyway, she has the gun, and Juliet's in there, obviously, and Juliet manages to come behind her with a knife and say, I don't want to hurt you, blah, blah, but whatever. Anyway, they get over that a bit. Juliet handcuffs her to part of the kitchen,
yeah,
gets rid of whatever weapons that could be available, plugs in the hard drive. Fucking episode 9 that we get to do
yeah.
this.
But also, why has he got like a computer you can plug a hard drive into?
Well, I suppose he is quite high up, isn't he?
Yeah, it just seems weird. That
Yeah.
if they're trying to restrict this, that anyway. Yeah,
Anyway, she does it. Well,
presumably that's why she went there.
I had a problem
Yeah,
with this anyway because anyone who's, that's an internal hard drive. That's not an external, so you can't just plug it in to any
yeah.
computer. You need a hard drive reader for that. George
Yeah.
had one.
Yeah.
George had one because they've got two different connections. You've got an information connection
And
and
power
a
connection.
power connection.
Yeah.
So you can't just go, oh, where's me iPhone?
I
Fucking
know. I've got one. Yeah, for my old
yeah, I've
old
got it.
internal
I've
hard
got
drives. Yeah.
yeah, because you need them. Anyway, forget all of that because the people who wrote this obviously haven't got a clue about that sort of thing. But basically, yeah, she plugs it in. It takes fucking an hour, seems like, to load up, and then she starts going through it, and all the while, Sims's wife. I wish I knew her name actually because she's singing it
Mrs.
quite a bit.
Sims.
Mrs. Sims. She starts to she's obviously been ex-law enforcement or whatever, so she knows how to break out of handcuffs. So she starts picking the lock on that. What happens then? Billings is sort of hanging around and he finds the book, doesn't he?
Mm.
He sort of figures out that she's hidden it behind the.
But before that,
Oh,
Billings has a thing with his wife, doesn't he? Which I thought he sort of goes to his wife and he's like, he's blaming himself for letting Juliet get away because
yeah.
he couldn't hold her because of
He's
his
such a
grip.
doormat, but I
Yeah.
like him.
But this is the thing because like she was like, he's like, I've got to get to the bottom of all this sort of thing, and she's like, no, you need to stop what you're doing and stuff. And he's like, but I'm kind of.
Yeah, I didn't like
She
his
was
wife in this one.
no, she was quite horrible to him. She was basically
Yeah.
just like, doing that horrible thing where she's kind of shouting at him, but with a smile on her face at the same time, which is really infuriating in a
So,
conversation. But she was basically saying, yeah, but you need to think about me and your son, sort of thing
yeah.
like that. And of course, he is doing that, but like, he still has to do the
Yeah.
right thing.
He's the
So,
nicest person in the silo
yeah.
we've met so far,
I did warm to him more in this episode, I must
Yeah.
say. But
No,
yeah,
she was horrible
she's
to him.
really not very supportive at all.
No.
So yeah, he should obviously divorce her and just leave and get with someone else.
Yeah, maybe you can shack up with
Yeah,
Juliet. She's free.
yeah, or some other
Yeah.
shaky person, and they can sort of shake together. Yeah,
Poor fella.
shake together. That's what we should call the episode. But
Yeah.
but he's like, no, I have to find out. So that was really good. Yeah, he was just like to her, that's not fair, and she was just
Mm.
like, it's the truth, and it's like it's
Yeah.
not the truth. That's just your opinion. So yeah,
Yeah.
that annoyed me actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've
I
got written
went
down.
right off her. She's been quite
Yeah,
nice up to now, giving him ginger root or
yeah.
whatever the fuck they use.
But
But
all of a sudden, things start to affect her, and she just turns into like nasty mode.
yeah,
Yeah.
what
All I've got written in my notes, it says Billings' wife horrible.
I was going to use the C word. Never
Oh
mind.
Christ.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
No need for
Anyway.
that.
Yeah.
Man's suffering,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Um,
She's
but we.
having not to deal. She hasn't had to deal with any of this shit. She's there in her house looking after the kids. You know what I mean? Doing probably a flower arranger or some shit. Who knows? Do you know what I mean? No sort of heavy lifting. He's going
Yeah.
around. He's like, people are punching him in the face. He's breaking up riots.
Yeah.
He's getting his office was just turned over by a bunch of assholes in helmets.
Yeah.
He's having a hard time. Yeah.
Exactly.
She's not a C word, but I mean, she's not being. I withdraw
Yeah.
that
No.
word.
Let's do that. Let's not get
Yeah,
banned. But we see a little bit when Juliet manages to get into the hard drive. She sees a thing saying "Start here." And we
yeah,
see a video of George Wilkins, who obviously that's what he used the camera for, that we were alluding to previously. We see a little video of him, but she only watches a bit of it because then Sims, his wife, manages to escape, grab the
yeah.
gun, and you think, oh, well, she's done for.
But then Sim's wife again does something very strange. So the first two things, she tells the goon squad to fuck off. She comes in the house, sees that someone's in there, gets a gun. She doesn't allow herself to get captured, but she could have come up behind, Juliet, and then she had a mallet in her hand. She could have easily knocked her out because Juliet was completely absorbed in the
Yeah,
video, but she
exactly.
doesn't. She says,
No,
she says,
because she can see the video. Yeah,
she can see the video, and she says and she gives her a warning. She says,
yeah,
that thing is now sending a signal. and they're going to find out you're using
Yeah.
it, and they're going to come real, like, you can either go, or or you can get
Yeah.
killed, and
So
she
yeah.
didn't have to do that. So I'm
No.
thinking,
Another ally, basically, like it's
yeah,
almost like everyone is dissatisfied with the way things are being run, and everyone sort of
yeah.
knows that they're being lied to, but
Well,
everyone
she's got a kid as well. She wants to see him go out in the
yeah,
sunshine and run about and be
yeah.
normal.
So I thought it was, you know, yeah, that was quite good, quite
Mm,
interesting because again, it was just like everywhere Juliet's going, people who should be her enemies are sort of like helping her along a bit because
yeah.
almost everyone, it's like almost everyone knows. I think IT are under the impression that everyone's just sort of happy in their ignorance, but clearly,
Mm,
like no one is.
mm.
Like no one is.
There's
There's
too
people.
many discrepancies with the
Yeah,
rules. You can't have
yeah,
this, you can have that. If you have that, you're going to die. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's just,
So
it's too
obviously,
much. Yeah.
yeah. So obviously, like that you can kind of see why IT must know this, and they must know that people are sort of scared, frightened, or angry, and they're just suppressing it. But like they've just totally gone the wrong way about it. Um, so yeah, so she gets away, and we see in the control room Tim Robbins and Sims, and they're like, after he's given George Wilkins 2.0 Lucas a sort of bollocking, he says, "Oh, there's a number on the hard drive says 18, same as his key ring," and they search for it, and he says it's actually plugged in right now, conveniently. And it's in Sim's apartment. Sims does his running, his bad acting running, which was very funny. He's just like running really massively frantically, but everyone else alongside him is just walking. It's just weird. I don't even know how that's possible. Um, and runs down to the apartment. Juliet's legged it by then, but there's a really fucking stupid bit at the beginning when they get to that point. He turns up at his own apartment, his own place, right, with
Oh,
two
yeah, I
girls,
remember this
right?
bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and literally they're just about to smash the door open with a fucking massive heavy thing, which they managed to run down the stairs with, like a what you call it, a battering fucking ram thing,
Battering ram, yeah.
right? And then he just goes, "Wait." He says it like that, "Wait," right? Not like "Wait," it's
Yeah.
"Wait," right? And then you see the door, and the door's fucking open. Like you can see it's
Well, he'd
open,
have
right? So,
keys, wouldn't he?
yeah, but that's the other thing. Yeah, exactly. But also, if you were about to knock down a door and get into someone's apartment, you would try the door first, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But also, you can see that it's open,
Yeah, it was a
and
good
they were
couple of
just like,
inches of light there. Yeah.
but yeah, again, even if you shut the door, tried the door, and it was locked, you'd be like, "Have you got your keys?" And you'd be like, "Well, of course I have." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, it just made no sense. Why would you bring a
Yeah.
battering ram? Oh God! So that was kind of ridiculous. Like the door's clearly open. Why on earth would you try and
Yeah,
batter it
it's
down?
not just brought to, it's a jar.
Yeah, it's ajar. Yeah, it's fucking stupid. So that was fucking like, yeah. I've just got several question marks and exclamation marks together written down on my notes for that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so he goes in there and his wife's like, "Oh yeah, I let her go." She says that she let him go, didn't she? I can't quite remember what her explanation for that was. Um,
Well, I mean, she could have swung it like, I've got a kid. You don't want your kid to see violence, do you?
yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah. So that, she kind of played it perfectly, really.
No,
But
she did. She did.
at the same time, I think she wanted to. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
yeah,
she's
yeah,
part of the rebellion now, because the amount of things she's done,
yeah.
which I didn't think she would.
Or if not part of the rebellion, like a sympathizer, and like when the rebellion does happen, she's
Yeah.
going to be very useful because
Yeah.
she's
Yeah. Yeah.
ex-raider and she she's
She's
obviously got
IT
leverage on
as
crews.
well now. Yeah.
So that was yeah. So maybe we'll see more of her. I hope so, I was going to say there's only one episode left, but anyway, Juliet gets away before that, and then we see, which I thought was quite interesting. She appears again. We see some kind of quite obnoxious little red-headed boy,
Oh,
man.
the IT guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who was quite insufferable. Um, but then he turns up at his friend's house, and it's the guy Patrick, who was like one of the ex-cons, and the guy who worked in the
Kennedy.
criminal
Yeah.
Kennedy, and and I thought, what the fuck's this guy? Because I never understood what that guy was in the show anyway.
Well, he's putting it just for this moment, isn't he? So we
Yeah,
don't go, where the fuck? Who's these
and
guys?
like
You know what I
he
mean?
was like a red herring for 2 episodes where they thought
Yeah.
everyone was trying to blame shit on him and stuff like that. But it turns out nothing to do with him. He just seems like an all right guy with a bit of a past. But so he turns up at his house and he's like, "Why am I here?" And Juliet's there. Juliet's gone there. Do you know what I mean? Because and the guy obviously had let her in because when they had dealings in the past, she was, I mean, not particularly nice to him, but like
She didn't
kind
get
of
him arrested.
yeah,
And actually,
yeah,
she saved his life, kind of, because she got
yeah,
him out and hid him while the investigation, because he was blamed for the murder of,
yeah.
I can't even remember who it was now, but he was blamed. Was it Marnes or the,
It might have
oh
been
no,
Mars.
it was the mayor's, he was blamed for the
Yeah,
mayor's death and Marnes, I think.
yeah,
And anyway, she gets him out, and so he's not arrested. So he kind of does her a little
yeah.
bit. Yeah,
Exactly. Another
yeah.
ally, which was good. I wasn't expecting that. Um, and then so he gets there and he's like, you need to open this fucking hard drive for me. We need to see it now, sort of
Mm,
shit, which was cool. And he
yeah,
says he can bounce the IP address,
yeah.
because they can do that because there's obviously a need for that skill in the silo.
Mm.
Um, ridiculous. So that's cool. So he starts fiddling around with that. I think then we then see Billings again, and Billings is he finds the book
Yeah,
in Juliet's apartment.
yeah. So
Yeah,
they're kind of turning the
oh,
place over. They've completely
mm,
ransacked it, and he he sort of slips in there without anyone's knowledge,
yeah,
and then he kind of figures out that behind the bathroom cabinet there's something hidden, and then he finds the book and he opens it up and it blows his fucking mind.
yeah.
Yeah. And he's
It's weird, isn't it?
crying. He's
Yeah,
still got that bump on his head where someone elbowed him.
yeah. He's fucked up
Poor
still.
fella.
He's just
Yeah.
he's had his wife being shitty to him. Now he's been lied to. But yeah, they're sort of like that little picture book. Yeah, blows his mind. And he burns it.
But he takes out a page, doesn't he? Because
Oh, I didn't see that.
yeah, he takes out. I don't know if it was of the beach. That's probably the best one, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
if I'd never seen a dolphin before and I'd saw a dolphin and that, I'd be like, what the fuck is this alien
Ah!
creature?
Ah!
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So, like, the beach is safe, or the forest, you would go with those,
Yeah.
wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So, yeah, he rips out, obviously, his favourite photo, bungs it in his top, and then he chucks the rest of it. I wish he hadn't done it, but
Yeah.
maybe he did it for Juliet. Maybe he burnt it for
I
her.
don't know. I'm not quite sure. I mean, I think maybe he's just like so fucking emotionally fucked up at the moment
Yeah, right.
that he was
Yeah.
just like he's
I've
trying to.
got to get rid of it. If I get searched, a piece of paper, you could
Yeah.
maybe get away with a book.
Almost like
Yeah.
he just doesn't want to believe it. That if he burns it, perhaps it just in a way,
Yeah, he's seen it now,
the way
though.
some people act. It's just like
Yeah.
maybe he's just like, if I burn it, then it never happened, sort of
Yeah.
thing. Because he can't handle the truth. Um, but yeah, so poor old Billings. And I think then we switch back to like the last scene, which is they're going through the hard drive again, and
Yeah,
we
yeah.
we see George Wilkins, and we see the whole of that video that he recorded for her, and he's like, "I did use you, but I fell in love with you," and all that
Yeah.
shit. And she's got a bit of a tear when she should be like, um,
Yeah,
whatever,
she's
asshole.
quite overwhelmed, isn't she? She's
Yeah,
yeah, it's nice, yeah.
but he starts talking
But I
about
couldn't care less about any of that emotional stuff. I
yeah,
was just like, what's on the fucking
yeah,
drive?
get
What's
on with it.
yeah,
Yeah,
just go
I'd
on
be
with it.
opening up random files just to
We're
see
on episode
anything.
9 now.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, he's like, I found the door, and he says there's a 15-foot door, and then and he goes, you're probably thinking how I got past the water, but I'll tell you, it wasn't a problem. And then he just starts talking about something else, and I was like, that's not helpful, man. Like seriously, just tell us what you did. Did you swim? Is there a fucking bathysphere? He just fucking just moves on from it.
Yeah.
So that was a bit
It
annoying.
might
But
have
then
drained it.
maybe it
She
seems like a
hasn't
lot
been
of
down
water
there
though.
since, has she?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, but she did go after he was dead, and the water was
No,
still there.
she did. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that was. Yeah, that's again not very well explained. but basically, he says you need to start with this hard drive by looking at James McCready going out or something, and it was something like 70 years ago. It said something like Silo year 86, and they're in 140 now or something like that. So
Oh,
it's a while ago.
Jane Comedy or
Comedy,
something.
yeah,
Yeah,
sorry. And we see that in video, and she's like calls the other two over and says, "You need to see this." And it's a video of her, probably her helmet cam, and it's all green, and she's like, "It's
birds.
so beautiful," and birds and all that kind of stuff. And she's basically saying the display in the cafeteria is a lie.
Yeah,
Um, so that's kind of where it ends. And
yeah.
I mean, it's interesting that bit because there's looking at the book, remembering the book.
There's more to it. It's
Yeah,
not.
there's more to it. It's not quite what we think, I think.
Yeah, I don't want to give it away in case they've
No,
changed
no,
it.
I
And
don't.
the other thing I thought was interesting with this as well was, well, see, I think Sims is going to turn because Berners was a bit of an arsehole to him, and he's saying like,
Oh, yeah, he's a total dick, isn't he?
yeah, he was saying to Sims that I know you want to be my shadow, but I don't think you're good enough, and and you sent, they
Yeah,
sent those coppers down, like that was a problem. You sending two
yeah,
coppers down to protect his wife. Do you know what I mean? That's not a problem.
yeah.
But so he's just been a total dick, and I think Sims he might come around in the end. I don't know. It,
Maybe I don't know
yeah,
either. I mean, it'll be his wife that does that to him. Probably makes him turn. But
maybe.
yeah, like Tim Robbins has just completely mishandled everything ever since he
Yeah,
took over. He's just like, you know, I mean, the previous man must have known some of what was going on,
yeah,
really, because it seems like everyone knows that shit's going on, but she kind of kept the peace
yeah,
somehow. But like, he's just like paranoid, you know.
yeah.
So yeah,
Also,
he's just fucked all that up.
the other thing I thought was interesting was that the alleyway cameras were turning off.
Yes, I forgot to say that. That was in mine, and but like they didn't. It wasn't them.
No,
It wasn't IT who were doing that. So
and
who was doing that? And,
so there's obviously somebody else in IT that's
or yeah, or somewhere else.
so because
But
that was very briefly mentioned.
yeah, exactly. Because they were turning off as Juliet was going through there almost. So someone was obviously tracking her
Yeah,
and someone else, and was turning those things off. That's very important. I
yeah,
think that I mean I think that's what the key ring. The key ring is important.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Well,
the
they
EAP.
showed it enough. I mean,
They did, and it's flashing, which is
and
obviously
it's
like
pink. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? It's just like, look, he's a fucking important keyring.
yeah. Exactly. But the fact it was flashing, but it wasn't flashing all the time, obviously, I mean, that's just like, okay, it's a call to action, isn't it? It's,
Yeah,
so, so that's all connected. We know that.
yeah.
That's not a
I
spoiler
am
for anybody,
looking
is it?
forward to it now. I'm looking forward to the next episode. It's gonna.
Yeah. It has been renewed for season 2,
Yeah, yeah. I saw
which is
that.
good.
Yeah,
But I hope they don't try and drag it out for too many series because I really want to see. I think, I mean, when I read the book, the first couple of books or whatever, and it's, what we're seeing on the show now, obviously something momentous does happen, and we get kind of an expanded, more is going on than we even think. And I
yeah,
think at that point, when some of the mystery is revealed, it kind of gets better. I
yeah,
think at that
yeah.
point, there's
Well, it's
much
so
more
insular at the moment,
philosophical
isn't
things
it?
to
It's
think about. Yeah,
yeah. They're so sort of. They're just living in this little world, and there's a lot
yeah,
more to it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's definitely it's getting there. I mean, we've got is there one episode left, or is there 12 episodes in this season? I
I
don't
thought there
know.
was 10.
I could be wrong.
I thought there
Um,
was 10. I think it's 10. So
I'm not
it'll
going to
be the
Google it now.
finale next week, which should be excellent. So looking forward
Yeah,
to that.
so hopefully, yeah. I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it all in one. I mean, basically, it's just going to end on a massive cliffhanger, which is going to be quite frustrating
Yeah,
because there's no way they're going to be able to reveal sort of big reveals at this point in one
yeah,
episode. So I expect we'll probably see some sort of riots. um, and Juliet down in the back in the looking for this door, and that's probably how it's going to end. She's going to open the door and
Oh,
then walk through
don't.
it, and then it's going to fucking end. And we
Yeah.
have to wait till next year or
Oh,
something.
I found it quite. I haven't read the book. I found it quite frustrating. This
Yeah,
the last sort of few episodes. I've been quite frustrated with it,
yeah,
um, but it's it's well done. Great people in it. You know.
yeah. It's. I think there is, like you say, there's definitely flaws in it writing wise. I think I can kind of understand what they're trying to do, but it's only really become obvious that I think they were trying to sow some seeds, in our minds that nothing's quite all right, or that everyone
Mm,
is suspects something's going on. But I don't think that really came across. I think
no.
that's what they were trying to do, because it just kind of seemed like everyone's sort of happy, sort
Yeah.
of. So yeah, it could have been, it could be a lot better. But saying that, I think it's really good.
The standard is
Um,
actually really like really good. I've only had a few quibbles about some of the dialogue,
yeah,
um, some of the reveals, but other than that, I mean, you can't fault the set design, costume, lighting, all the rest of it, cinematography, the actors, and all the rest of it. You can't really fault any of it, really.
no,
I
I
mean,
think
compared to
a lot of, yeah.
some things are just shit.
Oh
Do you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Like top down to bottom. But this is they've really tried. You know.
I'm hoping that in the second season they might address those sorts of things, because I think there's been lots of like there's so many knocking on doors and like apartments looking identical, and of course they would look identical because they are going to be identical. But like you can make things look different. I think there was a lot. Well, at least for me, I was very confused. Especially in several
Mhm.
episodes where she's banging on some door, looks exactly the same, and then I don't know who's in there. You know what I mean? It's like.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, the thing with his George's ex-girlfriend, I mean, I think the only reason they've put her in is because they wanted Juliet to have a conflict,
Yeah,
against her. So she's found out that he's a bit of a joker and he didn't really love her and stuff, and she felt quite hurt by that. So I think that was like she was literally only introduced for that reason to
yeah.
be a conflict for Juliet, but yeah, she didn't need to be
Yeah,
in it at all. That fucking Pez dispenser didn't need to be. But I mean, these are
yeah,
very small. I think on the whole,
yeah.
they've done a really fantastic job.
I think so. I agree. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird because this episode you didn't really. I mean, Juliet was in it, but only a couple of times, and we
Mm.
still kind of got no. There's no sort of insight into what's going on inside Juliet's mind. I'm saying fucking Julia now. Into
Sorry.
what's going on inside her mind. There's no. We only kind of see her reacting. We don't really understand what her plan is. It's like at every
No.
turn she's
Well,
doing
she's been
shit.
on her own, isn't she? And
Yeah,
most of the time, there's no one she can talk to about it apart from
yeah,
Walker, and they can only say limited things because they're being they've been surveilled the whole time. So
yeah.
it's all in code. But
I think there's definitely things they could do better, and I'm hoping that they will look at. I mean, it's very difficult to sort of trust any kind of reviews because but like somehow they need to sort of address those problems in the second season, and I'm hoping that the second season will be much better.
I
And,
think
it,
it
and there's
will. Yeah.
plenty,
I
plenty,
think they've been
plenty
very
more.
limited to what they can do in this one. I mean, they've got to jog the story along. They've got to keep the mystery going. They've got to introduce a bunch of characters, which takes time up in the script. Um, and they've got to sort of finagle ways of putting these characters in a natural way rather than just introducing
Yeah,
people. Do you know what I mean? So they've been doing all of that. So I mean, I had an issue with the reveal; it was too tropey. But I mean, like it's very on the whole, they've done a fucking great job,
yeah, they
and
have,
I,
and
and I don't want to. I mean, you could pick apart it but that would be an arsehole thing to do because it's actually a really good production, and
yeah, no, it
I
is.
want it to succeed. I really
I do.
do.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do, and it's like I'm glad it got renewed.
yeah.
And hopefully, but I mean, I hope they just do maybe one more season, maybe two.
Well, there's
But
3
like,
books, isn't it? So book a season.
yeah, I think he might even done more. I don't know, but like,
Well, the Wool's a trilogy, isn't it? I
yeah,
forget the other 2. But yeah, it's 3 and 3 for this. But I don't
yeah.
know if he expands it beyond that.
I think he might have done, but I'm not quite sure. It's been a long time since I sort of got into it. But so I mean, you could do it in one more episode. What was one more season, and it would be fine. It'd have to be proper action packed,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we're going along. So let's hope. But I'm really glad, and it's just nice to see a show
That's not
that
shit.
that's not shit and not sort of the same as every other show. With the same nonsense that we're all used to seeing at the moment. About
Yeah.
insufferable people sort of moaning about their lives are fucking too hard. It's just I'm fucking sick of it. Do you know what I mean? So it's really, really good. I'm glad we've done it.
Well, that's a good place to leave it then,
I
I
think
think.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
So there was last time briefly we talked about rabbits creating wool,
Oh, yeah.
and I
Well, I was
wasn't.
correct.
Oh,
You
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 were
were
correct.
incorrect.
Oh no, I can't believe at the age of 51 I didn't know that certain rabbits produce wool.
You should
But there we go.
do your own research.
Which also incidentally is the title of the book.
Yeah.
Wool.
Wool.
Maybe that's what he meant.
That's my yeah. Maybe he's
Maybe the
got a couple of
rabbits.
Angora.
Maybe we're
Right.
going to find some secret sort of like control center, and they're going to do the big reveal, and it's going to be a rabbit sitting there.
With a headset on.
Yeah, and a fucking gun. Well, hello, you finally made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps with like a human on his lap,
Oh yeah.
like James Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
that would be great. I'd
Something we
watch
wouldn't
that.
expect. Yeah.
Yeah, and dun dun dun, and then it ends.
Yeah.
I
That'd be
don't think
cool.
that will happen, but yeah. So I just wanted to address that. So well done. I learned something there. Can you
Yeah.
believe that?
I feel
So
vindicated.
yeah. So I was going to say there's, we still are looking for new things to watch. I watched the first episode of Marvel Secret Invasion, which I
Right.
could not care less about because I don't care
Man,
about
the Marvel shit's just, it's not
it.
even worth looking at now.
Honestly, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's boring. It is boring and bad. And I always think that shape-shifting aliens is such a fucking cop
Cop
out.
out, yeah.
Like villain. Oh, they can look like anyone. Oh, well, because that means that anyone could be one. Oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
It's just
They
fucking. It's
probably,
just
the writers probably just watched the thing and thought, oh, that was a great idea. I'll do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just boring, and
Bollocks.
it
Yeah.
is boring because like Samuel L. Jackson. Although to be fair, Samuel L. Jackson, I honestly don't think has really done anything decent. Ever since he started doing this Marvel shit, he's just like fucking hasn't done
Yeah.
anything good.
Yeah, I used to look
Like,
forward to seeing him because he's such a
yeah,
character.
but like
Like,
he just
I really
just
liked him in. He was great in that because he does play himself most of the time, but he was in that the one with the lady. Oh Christ!
God,
I want to say Gina.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Long Kiss Goodnight.
Oh yeah, that was years ago. Yeah,
I know, but he was great in that. He
Oh,
has
he was great
character
in
and
that.
everything. Yeah, he was.
He was great in that. That was we used to love that film. Did we go and see that in the pictures?
I feel like I did, but
I think me and you went to see that the pictures as a random thing, but fucking
yeah, it was great. It was
15
great.
years ago, 20 years ago, the Swiss Cottage, possibly.
Yeah, I mean he's done other stuff since then, but that stands out to me as he's a proper character in that.
Yeah, he's great, but like again, I think that everyone basically just wanted to see him the same in every movie, and he just kind of went along with it. And
Yeah.
like Snakes on the Plane sort of shit. It's
Oh,
just
I
fucking
haven't seen
nonsense.
it.
Oh, it's terrible. But then the Marvel thing, and like Nick Fury's quite a cool character, but then they destroyed him in Captain Marvel, didn't they?
Yeah.
It made him into a
He
total
couldn't fend
pussy.
off a cat.
Yeah, couldn't fend off a cat. And in this, he's just an old geezer. And like, because he's old, he's, no one fucking likes him. And, because they just dismiss him because he's old.
The Marvel thing is just it's gone beyond the pale now.
It's a train wreck that won't end.
I mean, I think maybe 5 years ago they had an opportunity there to either make it better or just fuck off. But
They just,
they've decided
yeah,
to fuck off.
they just decided. I think it's that, I mean, I didn't like any of this sort of end game stuff, and I thought it was all a bit not. I couldn't give a shit about Thanos and all that stuff. I couldn't. I thought it was a bit boring. But I think they should have stopped it there and
Yeah,
then moved on to
no
something
doubt.
different. But
There's
like
not been
dragging on.
anything since then that you could vaguely say that it's an entertaining movie.
No, they've basically just gone,
Yeah,
we've made billions, but it's not enough. We
yeah,
need more. And we're going to absolutely saturate the market with shitty
yeah.
films,
They
like
just
all the
always fuck
Thor
these
stuff.
things into the dirt
Yeah, and
every
that's the,
single
everyone is sick.
time.
Everyone's sick of it. I'm sick of it.
Yeah,
But this thing was boring. I think they tried to make it a bit like for adults, right?
right.
But it just didn't work. I mean, Ben Mendelsohn is in it, and he's a fucking really good actor. I saw a great film with him in the other day, actually. He's really, really good, but he's
Mm,
just wasted in this as well. Amelia Clark is okay, but like she's fucking wasted in this as well.
mm.
Everyone else is bollocks. I mean, I'm not even going to tell you it's worth a watch because I don't think I'm going to be
No,
watching the
I
rest
won't
of it.
bother.
It's just not
No,
point because we all know what's going to happen.
you can tell even from like you can tell from the trailer it's going to be shit. It's just not
Yeah.
worth your time. Yeah.
There was some controversy I read that there's a big writer strike going on in the
Oh yeah,
US at
that's
the
right.
moment
Yeah.
and all that stuff like that. So people are, all these shows having to shut down, because they can't fucking find writers and things. But apparently for the titles for Secret Invasion, like the graphics and all that kind of stuff, apparently they just got an AI to do it. And a lot of people are complaining that, well, that's just putting people out of work, which I kind of understand. But like also,
Well, the writers haven't really been sending their best lately, have they?
well,
So
that's the problem, isn't it? A lot of people have been saying that.
you could get some
Right.
kid who's mad for a job who's into writing, and take probably about a quarter of the wages, get an IA
Yeah.
to polish it up, and then there you go. Jobs are good, and
An IA.
an IA. That's what I call them. That's what the kids
Yeah.
call it. Yeah.
That's the slang.
Getting things mixed up, mixing it up, isn't it?
Mixing it up. Getting down with the old lingo.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I am an old lady. Old lady.
Yeah. Old lady.
Yeah.
And I'm an old man. A bit like Nick Fury, so no one cares.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we haven't got amazing numbers of subscribers on our channel.
Well, maybe. Yeah. Fuck
Just
him.
the inherent bigotry of the young.
Yeah, that's going to make him want to watch. Let's stop it there.
Let's stop it there.
Yeah.
So next week, episode 10.
Yeah.
Hopefully see some great stuff.
Yeah.
See some wrapping up, and hopefully they unveil some more of the mystery. I hope they don't just sort of like leave it like we're just about to find out and then it ends, because
Yeah.
that would be a bit annoying, but whatever.
I am quite frustrated with it already, so they better pay up.
Yeah, you better pay up.
Better
Send
pay
an
up.
IA round.
Yeah, that's
Sort you
IA. Yeah, I've got fucking IA expert. I am.
I am an
Right.
IA
I'll
expert. I am. Right, yeah. So,
see you next time.
see you next time then. Chitty bye. Bye.
Bye.